Four Corners, the Dread Podcast. You have logged into Four Corners, the Dread Podcast. The Dread Podcast. Four Corners, the Dread Podcast. Four Corners, the Dread. Yeah, well, this is Ross Albert Williams in with another podcast for you this evening. It's already the 5th of December 2023. So how was your day today? Well, I managed to get some work done on the project, created a few jingles, one of them with the Winning Team Band. As I said, I'll be soon starting to produce some new music, some poetry, some audio, presentations, all in the attempt to recognize and commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Prohibited and Unlawful Societies and Associations Act 32 of 1974 in Dominica. And as you may know, the act was repealed in 1981, but the effects continued to linger on. And I found it appropriate that I should have a year-long celebration starting from November 19, 2023 all the way to November 19, 2024. And I've already begun to produce a number of mini documentaries on other digital assets which I'll be using throughout the coming new year. Four Corners, the Dread Podcast. You have logged into Four Corners, the Dread Podcast. The Dread Podcast. Four Corners, the Dread Podcast. And my name is Ross Albert Williams. I will be your regular host whenever we've satisfied on the right format, meaning the frequency and the length of the program is still up for discussions here at the management.
Now we milk the spotlight.
And I will keep informed as preparations towards the 50th anniversary proceed. There's a lot of discussions that need to take place.
Yes,
to show us how it is.
understand me, no man.
So we wait, and in the meantime we work.
You know why me produce, I'm not ready yet, man. Check me back tomorrow, afternoon. Wait. Might as well I buy some and chew. Me say me might as well buy some and chew. Me say me might as well buy some and chew. Me say me might as well buy some and chew. You know what?
I would encourage ones and ones to just think about ways in which they could contribute. We have published a 10-step program which you can find on the internet, on our Facebook page, and that should provide some sort of inspiration as to the kind of things you can do. A brother has already approached me with his account of his experiences growing up under the Dread Act, and I would encourage him to produce that. Accept my invitation to come on this podcast, and let's lively up ourselves.
Four Corners, the Dread Podcast. You have logged into Four Corners, the Dread Podcast. The Dread Podcast. Four Corners, the Dread Podcast. Four Corners, the Dread Podcast. You have logged into.
Yeah, and this is Ross Albert Williams.
Remarkable and very large and in charge. The best DJ in town is here. He's revolutionary.
Yeah, I'm revolutionary. I'm the Honorable Nachi Dread. In case you have any doubt, this is the Honorable Nachi Dread, Ross Albert Williams. Just getting ready to produce another episode. This time it will be episode number 6. In the meantime, in between time, we're just chilling.
Four Corners, the Dread Podcast. You have logged into Four Corners, the Dread Podcast. The Dread Podcast. Four Corners.
So we're just still testing this out. Still a number of problems popping up, creeping up. So we're really desperate to really fix those problems, okay? So this has been Ross Albert Williams, the Honorable Nachi Dread. Until next time.
Four Corners, the Dread Podcast. You have logged into Four Corners, the Dread Podcast. The Dread Podcast. Four Corners, the Dread Podcast.